This is a
Deal
test.
with it.
It's conducting a test
Deal with
of the
it.
emergency
Are you
broadcast.
just gonna sit there and take it? That last caller just made me drive off. Is this done or what every day? Can't figure out whether to really show up or whether to really don't.
DrivetimeUGC.
Let's not start that mental breakdown again.
It's an experiment.
Well, with the Foundry, we can probably agree on what the biggest bugs are right now.
News, information, or instruction. This concludes this test of the emergency broadcast system.
And we're live. Hello, everybody.
Oh, wow. Thanks for giving me warning. Gee.
Well, I heard Cast counting down. I don't know if you did.
Wait, what? Cast was counting? What?
Well, he was right on the money.
Which is surprising because
I
I just randomly started counting.
I
Yeah.
know. I was. That has. You evil person. I can't remember whether we.
Good
put
evening,
implicit
everybody.
ratings. Hey, now you're taking what I say. Jeez. Hello and welcome to episode 4 of DrivetimeUGC. I'm Cerberus Films, and joining me tonight, over there, manning the soundboard and everything, he is awesome, is Captain PF Dennis.
Hello, everyone.
Over there, sort of crawling in from somewhere, I'm not quite sure, but he's looking awesome as always, is Kirk Fat.
Hello, Stoke community.
I must say that green sweater is really suiting you today. And over there, someone who's just come back from the Dark Ages, I think, is Castmodean.
I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those meddling cadets in that wargle.
You just made someone quite happy, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, welcome back, guys. Hello. We're on a different day. Those of you listening or watching or something, not live, yeah, we're on a different day. We had issues. I don't know what they were, but we had them. And yeah. So hello, everyone who's here and actually listening to us. It's fantastic. We have listeners. Give me
Yes.
a big whoop whoop or something. Shall we mosey straight on in then?
All right.
Why not?
If that sounds good to everybody. We
Fantastic.
we kind of have a bit of an odd show format this week. It's kind of half freeform and half not. So we'll see how it goes. It may work out for the best. I don't know. Anywho, shall we start with Kirk Fat?
Always start with me. Well, okay.
Yeah. Wait,
I
do we
don't-
always? Because I can go to someone else.
No, I'll go. Although
Okay.
I have to say I don't have a soapbox this week, so that'll be
Oh
different.
wow. Okay.
And my topic isn't entirely negative, so that'll be different.
Oh my god. Hi, hang on. Are we sure this is you?
Yeah, no, it's actually Drogon. Drogon's
Oh.
for me. But what I want to talk about is I played a mission this week, and it's a mission on the Fed side. It's a Foundry mission called Romantic Forest. And I forget the author's name, and I didn't have time to look it up, so I apologize to the author. But what this mission is not really a mission, it's a map. And on the map is a romantic
Oh, did we just
side
lose
the
Kirk Fat?
tent. And you have blood wine and a nice campfire and nice firelight, and there are also a couple spots with candles. And the author who made this mission, he promotes it as this is a date mission. If you're seeing somebody, if you are romantically involved with another Star Trek Online player, you can use this Foundry mission, team up, and get romantic. So
I like where this is going.
Well, my first reaction was sort of like, because I mean, I never really understood the cyber thing very much. But I think my second reaction was, you know what, like, people have to agree to be 18 to play the Foundry, except for Cerberus, who lies. So why not? Why not why not create these sort of date missions where people can go in and there's no objective, there's nothing to do, it's just they go and they do whatever they want with whoever they want to do it with. And what do you guys think of that?
With our limited number of interacts and emotes, I like it. I think it's imaginative. And just to
Yeah,
pick
why
you up
not?
on that, I don't think it's not 18 to play the Foundry. It's 18 to review content that's not that's not out. It's like, yeah, to do the review content thing, you've got to be 18. But apart from that, you don't. I think. I need to
don't
go read
know.
the TOS.
I think it's both. I think when you play or when you review, you get that disclaimer the first time. But I might be wrong.
Well,
I
I
think-
think
I
they
think it's
took
different.
away the ESRB rating a while back
Did
for
they?
the game overall.
Oh.
I believe I seem to recall there was a discussion of that, but I'm sure it's still rated in Australia because they like to throw Peggy at everything.
Well, especially if there's certain missions that involve probing and aliens, you know, and drugs.
I have
think
three
you know
words
what?
for you: love slave number 9.
Hey, that's actually a very serious mission dealing with the rights of artificial life forms. It takes on very philosophical questions. So,
Yeah,
Okay.
I have no pretense about my missions being philosophical or anything. There's
Or-
a slave camp and there's a red light district in the slave camp. Just saying.
but I
Or-
mean,
Well,
Relics, where you violate Starfleet protocol and have a relationship with one of your officers.
you have a choice. You have a choice. You can say no. You know, I was under an alien's influence, or you can tongue the Andorian. You totally have choice there.
Please tell me that is the actual option. It says tongue the Andorian.
Well, actually, the first round, the Andorian tongued you, but then I got some complaints that, God, the Andorian stuck her tongue down my throat. What are you doing? And so I took that out and tamed it down. But I do
well, I
think
think
I do think there are some imaginative things here with this mission, Romantic Forest. I mean, imagine if let's say you built just this really elaborate Ryza private beach house, and in it were maybe 300 props, and the other 175 props were all invisible objects. So it's all tied with optional objectives, and you could let 2 players go and they could have dinner together, and there would be all kinds of different options for what the waiter serves and different pop-ups, and it would just be all kinds of different things with optional objectives. Maybe they could go for a walk on the beach or gather slugs or go fishing or whatnot. And it's funny because the Foundry's been up for so long, and this is the first time I've seen a mission that
Really?
tries to do this. I don't know if you guys have come across missions like this before.
I'm
Not
I know there have been
sure,
people
directly
who've
like
made-
that. No.
I'm pretty sure.
I
Nemesis
know
is
people have
making
made
this.
RP maps, but nothing that detailed.
Mm-hmm. And I do wonder at what point should Cryptic police that kind of content, if at all. Like, imagine what some people could do with certain animations, right? You could have we have certain lie down animations, we have certain push up animations.
Yeah, we have push-ups. Yeah, and we have wrenching animations
Yes,
as well.
the
which,
wrenching.
which are fantastic for certain things.
Yep.
Oh, and the author's name is Minolos, according to Hippie John. So that's the author's name.
Can you spell that?
Minolos, Minolaus.
Okay,
Actually,
we'll
it's
put
like
that in the
Minolaus.
notes.
Minolaus.
Yeah.
Now I have a
the,
question for you, Kirkvat. In the past, you have stated your silent opinion of the Foundry being used for story content versus other content.
Mm-hmm.
So your standpoint is that you have absolutely no problem with this, which is, by your own admission, very story light.
Yeah, and I think maybe that makes me a hypocrite because I hate the fucking grinders, and the exploits.
There we go,
Those
mature rating.
things, They piss me off, and I think they exploit the Foundry and they clog up the lists and all that stuff. But I love missions like, what was the author, or who was the author that made the Romulan Zoo? And it was a mission where
Commodore Bob.
Yeah, and Commodore Bob just made this mission really for his kid to have fun in a Romulan zoo, and I thought that was great. And I think this mission's great, and I think other role-playing missions are great. It's just it's the exploits that I don't like. So maybe
in many ways they're very similar.
I guess. I mean, the difference is I can't imagine one of these role-playing missions offering rewards unless there's just a lot of people just hanging out.
I wouldn't be surprised if it did start offering rewards, even if it was just like 5 or 6 people just went and played it over a certain amount of time. I mean, if they're in there RPing, they're probably going to be in there for a fair while.
Yeah, but I can also imagine I could also imagine the exploiters just realizing, hey, there's a mission, you can go in and click one console and you get, 1,000 dilithium, boom, that mission no longer counts after, a rush of people disqualify it.
Also, there's probably the other safeguards that we know exist, we just don't know what they are.
Yay, secret sauce, and that's not a euphemism.
I don't want to think about that. Anyway.
Well, as far as content goes, as long as there's some kind of disclaimer that, this contains such and such content.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and to be perfectly honest, I fully expect that a mission like this would get dinged, first off, just without an actual storyboard item. You know how many times I get dinged for the silent optional ones in Keeping Up with the Sens because people don't know what they're supposed to do. Now, in my headspace, it was all intended to be you're in the moment. This isn't one of those things where you get to plan out like in a Starfleet simulation. This is real life. This is going to happen without you having an inkling of what to do and you have to react. Apparently I'm the only one who got that, but
some people just like to be led by the hand through every objective in the mission.
Well, they're also trained to do so, right? I mean, when they're on a cryptic mission, it's always go here, do that, go here, do that.
That's true.
And maybe
it's kind of a game thing, really. There aren't many games nowadays. If we just going very slightly off topic, it's like the modern military shooter these days. It's the single player aspect of it is you're basically on rails as far as anything. Games these days are a lot of them anyway, they're very much you do this, you do this, you do this, you're told all the way through. Even though I did get lost in a modern military shooter the other day, not quite sure how I did that, but you walk off the side of a map and it tells you no, return to the battlefield, that sort of thing.
Yeah, go this way.
Yeah, it's hand-holding you, which you kind of have to do to a certain extent. I've noticed in my own missions that some players they get lost, and I don't know whether some of those are the story players and some of those are gamers and some of them are both. I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily. We just have to be creative about how we do it.
And I also think it depends on how the mission is presented to the player, right? If the mission's presented as, hey, here's a beach, go, if you want, go take a walk, or go explore, or go do this, and when you're done, come to this spot and the mission will be over, then that's, I think, much different than playing a mission and you're told to go here, scan this, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, where do I go? Where's this invisible object? Where's this optional objective?
Yeah.
But it is interesting because I don't know if you guys played much Elite Force.
I played a hell of a lot, yes.
I played a hell of a lot of Elite Force, and I also got into the modding community and made some maps. But that was a pure shoot-'em-up game, right? That was just first-person shooter.
Except for the second, like the expansion pack, which was awesome.
Right. But there was
walk around Voyager and blow up Voyager. I like that.
But there were so many people who they just built ships for role playing, and they assembled crew for role playing, and it's so weird.
It's still going.
Is it really?
Yeah, they just got, I think it was last year. Have you heard of Brex in the SEO? Yeah, he's part of that, or at least he was, and is following it along. And they just got the licenses from, I think it was either Activision or Ravensoft, so that they can actually distribute their own copy of the game, just so
That's
that they
awesome.
just so that they can do the RP stuff with it. That it's now legal. They can distribute all the parts of the game, which is just awesome.
It does seem like there's a big difference, though, between STO and Elite Force, because both games are really combat heavy. Both appeal to Star Trek fans, yet one has attracted these dedicated role players, and I don't see those people around STO. And except
But
for the
would-
occasional dancing at Drazana and that kind of stuff. I mean, there was an example with Elite Force where they gave out the tool set, right, and it was incredibly complicated, and it had a huge learning curve as far as learning how to build maps with Elite
Yeah.
Force, and it was a pain. It was a pain to try to learn that tool. Yet people went to great lengths to build their own starships and to go through role-playing sets and all that. Yet here we have a different Star Trek game with its Foundry, which is supposedly easier to learn and to use. Yet we don't see that role-playing community. So I'm wondering what is the difference? Is it because one's an MMO? Is it a different time in Star Trek history when there were a lot more fans?
Well, I think my question would be: would we know if there's this RP community? Because we know that there is RP in STO. I've seen
Yeah.
it. I think there's an RP forum section, isn't there, where people get together and they say, okay, we'll go and do this, blah blah blah. And I we see the dancing all the time, but I see other RP type things occasionally taking
Yeah,
place.
they're always hanging around in quarks.
But I
I've
wouldn't.
seen that a lot.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was a massive RP community. It's just we don't really interact with them, so we don't really see them, especially if they're all off on Foundry maps.
Well, we do see people come occasionally into the chat room. They're like, "Hey, I have a fleet, and I want to tell the story of my fleet. So how can I make a Foundry mission to tell the story of my fleet?" We see those people, but we never really see RPers come in and say, "I really want to use the Foundry to make a role-playing map. How do I do that?"
We did way back, like towards the beginning.
It was the very beginning.
Yeah,
I think
I
that
remember
in
that.
itself is probably part of it, is that we've had an attrition of those people because they became jaded with the dark time and the beginning of free to play, and the ones that are there may have just gone underground.
Mm-hmm.
Roving band of RPers randomly popping up on maps.
I think Rogue just had made an interesting point, is that Elite Force mods had the advantage of being more searchable on the internet, and
Right.
yeah, that's probably true.
How would they even find them in STO?
I'm
Can't
guessing,
find story missions.
I'm guessing it would be people in the know, is like currently with us.
Yeah,
We
and I guess
know our own missions,
Right.
but
And that's true, because with Elite Force you had servers, right? And so
Yeah.
if you had a role-playing community, they would have their own server and they would play role-playing maps. So if you wanted to
Yeah.
role-play, you could find other people to role-play with
And
instantly.
they generally had hub websites as well.
Mhm.
Yeah. which unfortunately just isn't a thing. It may become more of a thing when it comes to like gateway integration and stuff like that. That would be a really interesting way to see that go. Because I know Neverwinter are aiming to do something like that, so it'd be
Or-
nice to.
If we push for tags,
Yeah, tags would help a lot.
tags are coming to Neverwinter.
Is that on the?
It was
Owl
on
Bear?
they put it on the updated patch notes that they
Right.
released today. That were referencing things like the 3D editor, the wonderful, wonderful 3D editor. While I was waiting for power to be restored to the main reactor, I was at work and I logged into that place and was looking at that foundry, and yeah,
There's good stuff there. There's some good stuff and stuff we also don't want to be in there.
and there's orcs.
Orcs. But no hobbitses.
Nasty,
want
nasty hobbitses.
My precious.
That was actually pretty good.
I think it was helped by the microphone distortion. didn't sound good on my end. So, anything else you got to say on the topics of that, or should we move on to something else?
We can move on.
Okay. Tell you what, I know you have another one, KF, but shall we? We'll go on to Paul's. What do you have?
Yes,
to say?
mine's not huge, but it's worth discussing.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Over the weekend, there was just a few of us on. I believe it was probably like early yesterday morning. I was having a conversation with Johnny Snowball, who was working on his mission. And what he had wanted to do was mix in an enemy mob with innocent bystanders and have the enemy just attack the player and not the neutral mobs. And from my experience, I didn't know how that could be done, because the enemy mob usually will attack the neutrals as well as the player.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, long story short, we found out that by using Klingons, they didn't attack the neutral mob. He used mastiffs, neutral mastiffs. And they didn't attack the mastiffs, but they did attack the player, and it worked out. And I said, this is all tribal knowledge now. Somebody pops into the chat room now and asks, now we know. But maybe we should have a section of our website that has all these little tidbits of information in it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's tough to find, people to dedicate themselves to this stuff, but we really should start recording all of these little things.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I mean, we do have some stuff like the NPC lists of what actor is which.
Right.
And I would say 80%, I would say probably 75% of every part of my tutorials is tribal knowledge.
Right.
It's stuff like, okay, I put an enemy mob on a map and there are 5 dots, and I go into the Foundry and there's one enemy. What does that mean? Like, how is anyone supposed to understand what any of that means? There's no information pop up in the Foundry that explains what something is or explains what or how something works. So it's the very basics. There's so many things that are just tribal knowledge.
Exactly. I mean, and I love having people come into the chat room and, you talk to them and help them out. But, it's also nice to be able to go to a website, click on something, and be able to find it. I mean, some people just don't, they feel a little shy or reticent to come into the chat room.
Right.
Perhaps it's time that we all got together and did a concerted effort to update the tutorials that are on STO's website. Get in touch with Brandon, etc., and just say, right, we're going to completely redo the tutorials, basically Kirk that. Just redo the tutorials, and this is how you do it.
Yeah, those
And that sort of
tutorials get so out of date so fast, though, too.
Well, I don't think they're going to get out of date for a while now, because, I mean, all those tutorials were done before Season 4, weren't they?
A lot of them were.
A lot of them.
Yeah. So, like, big stuff has changed. But even just, like, with what we know now compared to what we knew then, and how, and, like, even that we know what people don't understand, if that makes sense. Like, we've heard all the questions that keep coming up over and over and over again. And perhaps we could address those better.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of what we tried to do a little bit with the Authors Academy, but
and it's certainly something I tried to do with the Back to Basics tutorial series.
Right, which were all done after the major changes.
yes, they're fantastic, by the way. Just saying. If I was a new player, they would be fantastic.
Mm-hmm. But there really is no manual. There's no real way to go to a website and say, what does wander mean?
Oh Lord, I still have to dig up that post occasionally and read through it and go, ugh.
What
Are
do
you
you
talking
mean?
about the sticky dev
Yes.
thread that makes no sense?
Yes.
Which
I
one's
read
that?
I read that thread at least 10 times before I was like, okay, I understand 80% of what this says. There are sentences in there that are just, they make no sense whatsoever from a non-dev point of view. Like, I still don't understand. Oh, it's a sticky thread in the forums on advanced NPC behaviors.
Okay.
And it explains like wander and wander speed and wander duration and path nodes. I still don't understand the explanation for path nodes.
Your jobs.
See, this is where your problem stems from. You don't need to read, you just do, and if it works, it works.
But I've messed around with path nodes a lot, and they have no consistent behavior really, except
path nodes don't seem to do anything at all.
Well, I guess the more path nodes you have, the more the NPC pivots. And
basically, that's what the number of path nodes kind of dictates where it'll stop on its travels and go, okay, I'm going to go in a different direction now. Okay, I'm going to go in a different direction now.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have 10 of them, as long as you have the duration set for the maximum amount of time, you can pretty much get it to drunken walk down a hallway.
Yeah, or we can use whatever word.
The patrols.
Wow, great. Patrols, that's the one.
Which I've given up on wander. I use patrol for everything now.
Well, patrol is the guided hand, whereas wander was wander.
Mm-hmm. I like wander to add life to a station or to an area, and they'll just randomly walk around and walk into walls. I find that funny. I use wander for that sort of stuff. But patrol,
the downside is
fantastic.
You end up with civilians wandering into secure military areas, star bases. It gets awkward.
There are ways around that. Like, you can put up walls and take down the invisible walls when you go through somewhere, that sort of thing. But I know what you mean. It can be a bit of a hassle.
And there's also a lot of tribal knowledge with that stuff too. Like, just the fact that if you turn wander on, a lot of times your NPCs are nowhere to be found in the map, which was the problem I had with the latest mission I made. It was like all my NPCs were where I wanted them to be until I turned on wander, and they disappeared from preview mode entirely.
Oh, wow.
It was the same thing with jobs. It was like I put an NPC group on the map, turned jobs on, and then went into preview, and I couldn't find them anywhere until I published the map, and there they were, walking like zombies between consoles.
Well, and even that in itself, jobs themselves, ever since the change to the way the editor displays objects, there's almost no way to know which one of those circular consoles has a job on it if you just didn't know that it was the second variant.
Yeah, we used to have the little red man.
Or the little red man, and then it changed. Like, the first change, we lost the red man, or a lot of them, but we still had the little
red arrow,
white node above it, and things like that. Oh yeah, and when you placed it down, we had the red arrow. That was useful. But now I'm having a really annoying time with the way things are coming out when you place them down on the map, as in the where the icon shows, but it's not actually where the object is. Does that make sense?
That happens to me all the time.
Or actually, I figured out that it was putting down one of the doors, I think it was. I think it was the Klingon door. Or no, maybe it was the Romulan. I can't remember now.
Romulan door is not nearly as wide as the actual door.
And also then there's another one that has like, it will show you one layer, like one slice down, but that's not the actual slice that's on the outside of the door, if that makes sense. That's not the furthest point out, so you can't line it up properly, and it's my brain sort of
place the display case glass.
Oh no,
that took a good night long endeavor to do that in my first mission.
That one is not as bad as trying to do the because at least you know where the pivot point is, and that makes sense, kind of. But the really annoying one is the window panes.
Yeah.
Those are like, I've done it so many times, used them hundreds of times, but every time I still get it wrong. Every single time. So annoying.
See,
It looks
see,
good when it's done.
I'm the exact opposite. I have no problem with that one, but the stupid display case. That and what are they? The detail lines that you can like make the little landing pad for
Oh yeah.
a shuttle that are offset in such a weird way.
Yeah, but Borg
I gave
wiring.
up on those and did it the Alamac way. I used walls.
I never use that. I'd love to use that wiring for stuff, but you just don't know where it is or what direction it's going in.
They hang in an odd.
They really do. They're too big as well, and they don't work in anything but a Borg interior, I'm afraid, because it's big and it's open and it's.
No, they can be used in other things. They're just not as convenient as others. I'll have to show you something later.
Okay. That sounds slightly wrong, but okay.
Yes, I want to show you my wire.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Moving swiftly on. So, Castmodean, I know you have something to talk about today.
I do?
Well, apparently you have two things, but...
Well,
don't mind.
I guess I'll throw this out on the table.
Hang on, you were just talking about showing us your wire, and now you're talking about throwing something on the table. I'm a bit concerned.
As well, you should be.
Oh dear.
I'm going to ask the question. We've often said we want this, we want that. Which do you consider our need to be greater for? Costumes or assets?
Assets.
Assets by far.
See,
You're going to be the opposite, aren't you, Cast?
I'm going to be the opposite. I have been on record many, many times since, I don't know, March of 2010.
10.
I didn't want to actually say it out loud. But
Hang on, actually, is it 2010 or is it 2011?
it was 2010.
2010?
When we first got the TOS interior pack with the costumes. That was also the last time we had a major costume update in the Foundry up until we got the Romulan stuff just recently. Which,
hang on.
yay, Romulan stuff.
Yay, Romulan stuff. Are you sure? Because I thought we got something else. No, wait, 2010? Seriously? Has the Foundry been going for 3 years?
Yes.
3.5 now?
No, I'm sorry. It's 2011. It's 2011.
2011, yeah. Because the game came out in
Well,
February
it started in
2010. Yeah, that's right.
Well, when
I
you
was
get my
concerned.
age, you forget things. Go ahead.
No,
Yeah.
it's
Do you
been
know
when
what,
you
Paul,
get to
what
our
day is
age,
it?
hours become like years.
Paul, what day is it?
Yeah. By the book. Today is the 19th of August.
It's not actually, but okay. Whatever you say.
it's almost 3 years from closed beta.
Yeah. The beginning of the game, you mean, or?
No, the beginning of the Foundry, as far as
Oh right, yeah. That started.
Yeah.
No, that closed base. Oh no.
well, the Foundry was
Yes.
supposed it was originally planned for October, and I think they let us in what, late November, December.
I think
It was on
late-
Red Shirt in August. I remember that.
Yeah, and I think it was
Before I went to
late
school.
October, November when it went to Tribble, and then it was roughly mid-February because it was right around the anniversary itself when it actually
No,
went
I know.
live.
I
No.
think it was March of 11 it went live.
Yeah, because February we got the spotlights, and then we got it a month later.
And
We
beginning
got the full thing a month later.
in March is the beginning of the dark time.
Well, I
It-
remember all the porting over I had to do.
Well, March is when the divestiture happened and dogs and cats living together, and the
Yeah.
Foundry saved Star Trek Online.
Or
Yes,
so
it
they
did.
say. Yeah.
But
What do I get for saving this game?
You get our eternal gratitude. and you can
Romulan
have these
costumes.
cookies. And Romulan costumes, yes, exactly.
Well, okay, so here's my argument of why costumes are less important. And I think they are important in terms of certain things that we absolutely need, like TOS stuff. Like if we have TOS sets, we need TOS costumes and characters and that kind of stuff. We need Romulans. But when it comes to like certain uniforms or other things, I mean, in the game, the new pop-ups, I mean, they show people's head. And when I'm running around the game, I usually barely even notice all the little details people put into costumes. So I know there's certain authors out there who are like, they spend so much time tweaking the face. Well, I don't look at the character's face, really. I shoot them. Or, I talk to them for a second. I say, hey, your face looks just like that other girl's face. I guess the author really went to great lengths to try to hide that, but in the end, it all looks the same to me. And so costumes fall in that realm of kind of, yeah, it's nice, but at the same time, my God, I mean, we don't have med kits, that a player can pick up, and we don't have explosives that a player can attach to things, and we don't have...
No, I know, you have to use a crate.
we do, but they're difficult to use.
Well, it's part of a big-ass crate, that you got to hide in the wall. And there are just so many things like a captain's chair to go with the captain's chair platform. And,
yes.
Right. See, I could see on the costumes wanting to have alien costumes. I think we've got enough uniforms. But, having costumes for the different species is another thing. But that's why the items, I think the assets are much more important.
What I kind of agree with Cass in that costumes are important. Yes. I mean, if we look at our NPCs, look at most of the aliens and go and have a look at what people have used for their costumes, the majority of people will be using off-duty robes or off-duty something.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's just what I've made a concerted effort myself to try and not use off-duty stuff these days, and you try and be experiment with uniform stuff, and it's actually quite interesting what you can make out of a Starfleet uniform and have it not look like Starfleet.
But then again, I mean, you were talking about how if we're going to get these new features, the items feature from Neverwinter would be the best thing.
Yeah,
well, we're going to have some items.
Well, I wasn't quite finished in that, especially since we just got the Romulan costumes, and when we use those, oh my gosh, you can do so much with them. It's fantastic. Like with those different types of shirts for the men, you can just do everything you want to. It's so cool. Anyway, as far as assets goes, though, I've always been an advocate saying that you can do anything in the Foundry if you use a bit of imagination and spend enough time at it with the assets we have, and I think that's very true. And we don't need costumes or assets, but it would be very nice to have them. We can look at what Alamak's done, or look at what Kirkvat's done, actually, as far as the interiors for that Vulcan interior. You can do so much with what we have, but it would be so nice to have some of the new things.
Yeah, there are some things that we just simply need that we don't have.
There are things that we just can't do. Like, I don't think I could make a Federation warp core that looked like a real Federation warp core within a real Federation engineering section.
No.
Because we only have the purple thing.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the warp core, I mean, how many maps in the game have a Federation warp core?
There's, one? Two? There's two of them, I think, now.
Oh, yeah, one's
But how many of them are in ships that are undamaged?
One.
None. Oh, is there one?
Belfast Bridge.
Okay.
Except then you're stuck with a Defiant class warp core, which isn't really a warp core. It's more of a mushroom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of really cool... I would love to have some of the moving assets and things. Those are just so cool. Like, I really, really want the Singularity core from the Romulan interiors, because that just looks amazing. I mean, you could use that for anything, even not just Singularity cores. You could use it as like an art piece, or as a sun or something like that. Anything.
I'll tell you, there are just so many. Like, think about just the animations we could use. just for our NPCs.
Mm.
I could make a list of 100 animations that would come in handy. You know,
But
that we don't have.
are those animations in game already, or are they not?
No. I just want a sitting and talking animation.
Yes,
We
but
don't
we
have
want that for
those.
other reasons.
Well, I'd use it in a mission.
Yeah. Actually, don't we have one? There's. No, sorry, I'm thinking something else.
No, there's nothing with the character sitting
No.
and speaking at the same time. Even the kneeling and singing, the mouth doesn't move,
That's what she
which
said.
doesn't make any sense. But
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah,
some things we
it
just
would be
need
nice.
as a necessities, basic necessities.
I just think that you're right, Serb, that there is something to be said about how having limited stuff does fuel our imagination, and it forces us to think out of the box. I mean, for instance, I've gone through all kinds of hoops just to figure out, okay, how do I make a pole? I want a pole for my stripper stage. Like, I have this dive bar, and I have a stage, and I have a girl dancing, and I want a pole. So I've gone through like every single prop I can think of in the Foundry, even to the point of lining up like 50 of those little bitty red lights, one on top of the other, and it looks bad. But so like there's certain limits, there are certain
Yes, I know.
virtues that really showcase, wow, you made something that doesn't look so crappy out of stuff that kind of looks crappy. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
To me anyway, that's my joy in the Foundry, is making stuff out of stuff. It goes back to the Lego. I love Lego, and
Yeah.
I still do. Like if I wasn't so busy and I could get away with it, I would be playing with my Lego all the time, because it's just awesome. The ability to make anything you want out of building blocks, essentially, is what fueled me into the Foundry. And when I started playing Neverwinter, and I went into the Foundry for the first time, and I had a look, I had ideas of what I wanted to make, but then I took a look at the details and the assets, and I just lost. I lost my will to do it, because there was so much stuff there that I was almost spoilt for choice. And it probably sounds really stupid and really weird, but to me it took a lot of joy out of it. Now that in STO it's not quite the same, because yes, we have very limited assets, and yes, it's very cool, but yes, we could do with a few more assets.
Yeah, I think I had a similar reaction to Neverwinter. I went in there, and the first thing I looked for was the building blocks, and I looked for the platforms.
Yeah, and they don't exist.
And I'm just like, okay, well, what if I want to make a custom set? And all this stuff is there, but it's not really there for us. It's all pre-built.
Yeah.
But I guess, at least in my mind, the key to the assets is, yeah, we can do so much with these platforms, but why not have the ability to have different platforms with all kinds of different textures, or different sizes of the blocks, or big spheres, or all these other things that, we really are limited to blocks, walls, ramps, and
Yeah.
3
donuts.
sizes of platform.
Although
and 3 textures.
I am entirely happy with my steps, and will forever be happy with my steps. Shelf unit number 2, I think it is. It's just glorious. You can make anything. You can make
use
anything out of
grates.
shelf number 2.
I used the shelf for the handrail once.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
like the
yeah.
side part of the shelf. Yeah, that
Yep,
works well.
yep.
That works well. And I found that you can make anything out of shells, and also the panes of glass that we have now.
Okay, so
Which is
here's a
fantastic.
question for you guys. What's the craziest thing you've made out of something that has no relation to the thing you've made? So say you've made, like for instance, I just built a hot tub on a water map, and kind of covered the non-water areas with platforms, but I used like the tops of wall consoles to make the sides of the hot tub, and tops of ones for the seats, that kind of stuff. Like, what's the craziest way that you've repurposed an asset?
That's gonna make me think for a while.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
Yeah, right now, offhand, the first thing I can think of is using the colony connectors to make a defensive wall around a structure.
Those things can make nice walls when you stack them on top of each other.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're huge, so they're kind of hard to use.
So yeah, it's a perimeter thing. You're not going to use it as the small. Not in any way, shape, or form. It's going to have to be something where you're basically doing a fire base or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think it could be. I used chairs, not the sofas or anything. I used chairs to make a staircase that went into a shuttlecraft, and the shuttlecraft was made. It was a Klingon shuttlecraft made out of blocks and a load of some grates poking through the walls and crazy stuff just poking through the walls. And then I had a window in that shuttlecraft that looked back, and I had to try and make the set that I just come out of look like a Vorcha class Klingon cruiser.
Wow.
That's the one that's
Yeah.
taken 2 years to make so far. Yeah, that's where, and I can't remember everything that I used in that, but it was crazy. It's just line on top of line on top of line now. That's probably the craziest thing I've done.
Yeah,
I
because the
can't
next
even-
closest thing
I'd have to go in and look.
would probably be the transporter pads. The
Yeah.
many
Yeah.
transporter pads that I've made.
Mark 1, Mark 2.
Oh yeah. There's at least I think I have about as many marks as there are Iron Man suits.
Wow. You should really
Oh,
make.
I
a
can tell you
list
right
of-
now. I know what mine is. Mine's raising the character 3 feet off the floor.
Oh, that
with
was
doorways.
fantastic. That was fantastic.
How did you do that?
Yeah. I offset the opening door, one of the opening, Federation doors.
the crazy tunnel of doors.
Right. I used about 25 of them in a row and offset them 0.1 meters, each time. So by the time you got to the end of it, you were a meter off the floor. So that you could, you could rise to a level without actually knowing it.
And then you made me listen to that scanning beam sound for like the next 5 minutes, and
Yeah, I used it again in my newest one. Just fast though, it's quick.
See that just an idea of what the chat just said, or what took place about 5 minutes ago, was what Rogue Enterprise said. KF, there is no pole dancing animation anyway. What does it matter? And
Because
then
I
you
have
replied,
a stage and I need a pole.
yeah, and then Zorbane replied, "There's a sexy dance, and you can have the NPC dance in front of or behind." Yes, okay, Zorbane, yep. Yeah, that's the ingenuity. It's finding. I know it's not for everyone, but to me, I've said it before. The joy of the Foundry is finding ways of doing things.
I believe I have 4 words: slaves and seduction trailer.
Okay.
Wait, in a trailer or the trailer?
The trailer.
Oh dear.
You see, I don't
like the trailer.
mind having. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't mind coming up with different ways to do things. But some things you just can't do.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just need the actual asset to do it. I mean, that bomb
Ooh.
thing.
Someone just
is,
died.
Yeah, no, I think that was a fire alarm in my building, but
Okay.
it stopped.
That's fine then. Someone
Something
just-
chirped.
I feel sorry for the people listening with headphones.
That wasn't as bad as it could have been.
No, true.
But yeah, at some point after you spend 3 hours trying to make a transporter pad out of barrels and Klingon walls and little lights, ow.
You know, I still can't do transporter pads with. I still can't work out how people use the dome lights on top of the pad to then I still can't make it look right, and it really bugs the hell out of me that I can't do it.
What do you mean the dome lights? Like those little white circular lights?
Large
Yeah,
light
I
numbers
just
2 through. Are
I
you
think
talking about large lights 2 through 5, or are you
I
talking
think
about
so.
number 1, which is the white one?
It's the white one,
Okay, that's number 1. You
right?
just gotta.
I
You
just
have to
can't
set
position
it
it.
high enough, which I think it's usually about a .6 offset. I think I figured out
Okay.
above whatever your ceiling is, so that it
Yeah.
hides most of the body up in your ceiling
Yeah.
area, and you just have the light part.
Because I remember, I think one of the best I've seen is it was Saber Druids way back when he did the freighter asset.
Oh, that's the
And
Mark One.
yes, but that's still one of the best that I've seen. Even after that, actually, no, there was another one that I saw that was really cool. That was a Federation one, but I can't remember who made that. I kind of copied that a wee bit.
Well, now that we have our own transporter pad right now, what have your experiences been using it? Because I found that using the new transporter pad prop, it's every bit as frustrating sometimes trying to cover all the invisible
Yeah.
spaces as it was to make the transporter pad to begin with.
hmm I like it for some things, but it's all I know that it's also annoying.
I actually have had good experiences with it. I haven't had that much difficulty. The hardest part I've had is making the hallway around it so that the walls aren't impacting through the side.
Yeah.
Oh yes, yes.
Well, so
But
what do
you
you
can hide
usually
that.
use?
Well, for the base model, I'm using the generic interior 1,
Mm-hmm.
and I just literally slap the transporter room up against one of the door frames
Mm-hmm.
so
Ah,
that you can walk out into the next room, and it has the door frame already built there for you.
Yeah, I guess my problem was I was trying to use it on a non-Federation set or a
mm,
set that wasn't a ship or a Federation installation. So I had to use all kinds of weird Cardassian walls to cover the other side, and it was not fun.
Yeah, for that particular thing, I think the harder part I had was actually making changing the floor.
Mm.
If you want to have fun,
yeah.
try lining up the detail platforms 1 and 2
Mm-hmm.
in such a way that you can make a continuous corridor shape without nasty, ugly overlap and stuff.
Yeah.
I was able to do it once. When it first came out, I decided, okay, how could I make this fit in with like a generic or a Klingon interior? And I just took walls and just essentially plastered over the existing walls, and it actually worked fairly well. I was surprised how it came out.
Yeah.
But
That's what I
it is tricky. It is tricky to line it up right.
have any of you messed around with the TOS warp core and tried to do anything with that?
I actually
I
have
know
a
it.
map where you reactivate the warp core and you hide where you it hides the light inside of it until you reactivate it, and then the wall goes away and you can actually see the core itself.
Oh, that's cool.
Because yeah, I used that, and it was like there were so many levels of transparency to it where if you weren't looking at it through a small window, you could see the sides of it that were not textured. Does
Oh
that make
yeah, if you're
sense?
using the core asset itself, that now
Right.
that is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, the only thing I could really do was just create a small hole in the wall where you could look into the center of the core, because anything else you'd see the non-textured parts.
Oh, that's how I felt looking at your hot tub, for example. I was
Yeah,
wondering which console you'd used because the wall ones that I could think of have no back.
yeah, that. I had to find one that had a back. It's a similar situation when I'm trying to think of weird ways to build ceilings. It's like nothing has textures on the bottom.
hmm
I mean, certain things
I
do. Go
oh
ahead.
sorry, sorry, no, I've just completely blanked on what I was going to say. That's really annoying. Oh well, carry on. Sorry.
But yeah, it does seem like there's so many things in there that have texture problems or the lack of textures. And if everything had textures, especially on the bottoms and the backs, there's so much more we could do with stuff. So I don't know why certain things do and certain things don't. Like,
To be perfectly honest, we get to see the dirty little secret of the development team, that a lot of the stuff that we got initially was exactly as it was done in the editor, because it was never actually meant to be used the way we're using it.
But I wouldn't want them to close up any of the holes and things that we've got, because there are some things that's really useful. Just to have like it can be really useful at times, just to be able to poke something out here or do something like that, or have it invisible on one side and not on the other. It can be very useful. Who was it that used it? There was I think it may have been Paul actually that used it at one point, where you had it was like a pole that you could see from one side. But no, sorry, it wasn't. It was when I played something on Broadcast UGC and Zero was on, and something perhaps Baz will remember if he's in chat room. I think he's just woken up. There's a it was like there was a pole that was textured on one side but wasn't on the other, and it was being used really, really well. I can't remember what it was. That's annoying. I'm afraid, guys, we've also lost Paul to some extent, because that beeping you heard, it's his smoke detector, and it appears that it's run out of battery. So, well, it's about to, so it's making noises. Yay! Get a long stick, a very long stick.
Yeah, get a broom.
A 15-foot broom.
A phaser set to level 11.
Well, is that to recharge it, or is that to vaporize it out of existence?
I will answer yes.
Depending on which one is covered by the insurance. Okay then. Seeing as we're an hour in, should we take a break now?
Sure.
That sound like a good idea? Cool. Okay then. Paul, take us away. Enjoy these ads, guys. We'll be back in a few minutes.
DrivetimeUGC is brought to you by Mr. Breen. Flash freezes 99.9% of household bacteria in a microsecond.
Hi, I'm Bazag, and I like to stab. Of course, I don't just stab people, but I stab ideas as well. Yes, you can stab ideas. Stabbing gets to the heart of the matter, and I like to do so with all sorts of matters related to the Foundry. And this is why I'm creating a new podcast called Bazag Stabs. Bazag Stabs will be covering everything from Foundry mission reviews to discussions about designing and developing your mission. I'll be talking about mission structure, storytelling ideas, and tutorials about including cool technical tricks. I also hope on occasion to take some cryptic employees hostage and force them at Plastic Knife Point to answer some questions. If you're interested in learning how to make a Foundry mission, or to make your Foundry mission better, Bazag Stabs is for you. So keep a lookout at StarbaseUGC or TavernUGC, and you'll never know what I might take a stab at next.
Hi there, folks. It's me again, Crazy Chulaski. But I'm here tonight to tell you about my latest creative career conquest. I've maneuvered myself in with musical masterminds to produce a performance of the classics as only Crazy Chulaski can. That's right, I made an album. The consummate collection of compositions from all over the known universe. I know you're going to go crazy yourself over this unparalleled audio offering. I'm calling it Chulaski Sings, because that's what I do. It's a cacophony of crooning the like of which none of you out there have heard before. Classic after classic comes careening into your cranium. This is a promise. So run out right now while they're still available. Act now, and I'm going to throw in a behind-the-scenes video of my recording sessions. I honestly don't know how an average humanoid can possibly stand all of this quality entertainment at once, but I'm willing to test the limits. That's right, because I'm Crazy Chulaski. Say it with me, crazy, crazy, crazy Chulaski. And my talent is insane.
Hello, I am Solicitor Bran. You may know me from my other ads and appearances on the UFP networks. I'm here to talk to you tonight about Eudenitis myocloria, or Gatron's disease. This affliction has become common among dilithium miners all over the galaxy. It is terminal, and there is no cure. I do, however, prescribe large doses of latinum as a treatment. Gold-pressed latinum makes everyone feel better, especially me. So if you or a loved one have contracted this deadly ailment, contact my office immediately. I will fight the mining consortiums to get you the compensation we deserve. Honestly, what do you have to lose? You're not going to be around long enough to care. At least you'll go to the grave knowing that we hit these jokers where it hurts them most. Watch this.
Well, it looks like those miners are going with a public defender. We've got this all wrapped up. They don't stand a chance.
Wait, it looks like they've changed counsel. They're going with Solicitor Bran instead.
Oh no, that is bad news for our clients. We had better just settle this one. What are you upset about? The consortium pays us win or lose.
Oh yes, I'll call Bran and let him know when to expect all the latinum. See? The whole system is geared toward moving these cases along as quickly as possible. After all, no one likes to hear about sick people. This is a happy utopian society and sickness is so negative. So contact me today, and trust me, you'll be buried in a pure latinum container. Like the song says, for compensation, I'm your man. Contact me today.
Bran, 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 he'll fix your problem if he can. Oh, Bran, 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 for compensation, he's your man.
I'm here to tell you a sad, sad tale, my friends, about a low feeling. The sorrow deep, deep inside when a once endless river of patience has all but run dry. I'm telling you, my brothers and sisters, it's a hurt like no other. It's the blues I'm singing. Oh, I published me a mission. Took me months to make a map. With preview time so lengthy, I had time to take a nap. Told my friends to search the Foundry. All they found was exploit crap. Oh, I published me a mission. Same old walls, same old floor. I don't even have no windows or any props we've been asking for. Who cares if no one finds it? They've seen it all before. Oh, Lordy, the Foundry Blues.
Hello and welcome back, guys. How are we all?
Hey,
About the same as where we left.
Oh, wow. Okay, fair enough. Well, we just had our break, and now we're back, and now we're going to talk about something. I'm going to jump in with my very brief topic, which I feel quite nice and happy about. It's that now it appears we've had a ninja stealth thingy update to the Foundry with no patch notes about it whatsoever, that now it's not monetized as such anymore. We can use, like, anyone now can make a liberated Borg or a Cation or a Ferengi character, NPC costume, without having to buy those things in the C-store.
Was it last drive time that I talked about that?
No, you haven't talked about it. Or was
I
it
did bring up
Primetime?
monetize. On one of them, I brought up the monetizing of
Oh,
the
right.
Foundry
Sorry, yeah.
through that.
Yeah, you talked about the monetizing of it through that, yeah.
And I approve heartily of this. I actually did get in the other day and went, oh, I can make a Pharisian. Now I have to find out a reason why to make a Pharisian.
A Pharassan, is that what you're meaning?
The bad kitties, yes.
Yeah, okay. There's no extra I. What? No, I think it's really, really cool. And that's really all I wanted to talk about it. And I feel very positive, and I think I'm going to win a bet.
because we got something that was taken out, like over a year ago and never fixed?
It was never,
and then
it was never taken out. It just, we never
It was
could do
rebroken.
It was rebroken. Now it's fixed, and because it got fixed. Okay.
I don't. Let me explain it this way then. When I see things being fixed, it means that someone is paying attention to it, which means which to me anyway, when things are fixed, that then means that they're going to go on and do something new.
And I will say happy 3-month anniversary to long loading screens. And
Which is tribal knowledge on how to fix that.
It was just tribal knowledge how to fix it. And maybe if we can get the loading screens fixed, we might just be close enough back to our beta, 0.7 Foundry?
Mm-hmm.
I would like to comment that there was a statement made by a dev that I will remain nameless, but I'm sure everybody can find, who said that Neverwinter has been experiencing the same issues with loading screens and stuff as we have, and I have to
we should test that. Yeah, because I didn't experience that at all.
I also placed an object on the map from the right-hand side of the screen and had almost instantaneous load of the map.
Yes, so, it's fixed on Neverwinter, but it was an issue. I remember it being an issue, but it was fixed. I don't know whether it was. I can't remember whether it's before the release of Neverwinter or not, but there was a huge load time. I think it was during the beta, and actually way back at press beta as well. About that time, there were very, very long load times. So I'm wondering whether we're just onto that sort of branch of the Foundry now. That may be the issue, and we haven't got the update.
And the rate things will progress, we won't get that update until Season 8, which puts it approximately October, November.
It's only another month, 2 months. But no, I think we should maybe try and get a post, because the post hasn't been stickied, has it? As far as the workaround goes.
No.
I wonder if we can talk to the devs and see if they'll sticky that. Just send a tweet to Brandon or something if someone makes a proper post about it.
Yeah.
Or if we knew a forum moderator.
Oh, that's true. Yes. Where are those people these days?
If only we knew 2 of them.
Well, actually, I haven't seen them around. Anyway.
It is clear that things are slowly getting fixed. but it's at least in my mind, it's slowly getting back to the point before it got broken, with some added bonuses of Romulan costumes or Romulan ships.
Yeah, Romulan costumes, I think, is a massive thing. Like I said earlier, it's not a massive thing, but it's cool in that we can now, costumes have just been opened up so much. I think it's mainly because I love the Romulan vests and things. They're just so cool, and I love the shirts. Anyway. Oh, and
Well, I'm
Paul's
back. It was the carbon monoxide detector, not the smoke detector, and that was only about 4 feet up on the wall. So
Well,
that one I could grab, smash with a hammer, and now I'm all set.
This is how we fix things in Russian loft.
That was an awful accent, and no wonder Russia wants to destroy.
It's a far better Russian accent than a Scotsman doing it.
Yeah, but he didn't even try. I assume you're referencing Red October.
I am totally referencing Red October.
He didn't even try to do a Russian accent. He did his.
You talking about
Scottish Hollywood.
Connery?
Yeah.
Nobody insults Connery.
Except Connery. My first reference would be League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh yeah, but go on.
My second reference would be oh crud, that X-named one, not Xanadu. Zaxxas.
Oh, I don't
My
know.
third one would be the one where he was the cop on the moon of Jupiter.
Outland.
Outland, thank you.
Now you've completely lost me.
It's about 2 times before your lifetime.
Okay, fair enough.
So what, like 1970?
Yeah, he was on board a space station, but he had a shotgun.
Wasn't that when he was doing...
Not a laser gun.
No,
That was when he
shot-
was pretending to still have a hair.
Anyway, we've come off topic. Let's pull it back. Does anyone else have any other little topics they want to talk about?
I don't have any Foundry topics, but I do have a fun topic. And the topic is this. One of the podcasts I really enjoyed listening to this week is Mission Logs. And I'll plug the podcast because it's just an awesome podcast, because what they're doing, and it's a Eugene Roddenberry production, what they're doing is they're going episode by episode. Every episode of Star Trek they're doing a podcast on.
Right.
Cool.
So, they're going to do 726 podcasts or something. But it was a really fun discussion, so I wanted to do something like that for us, but not nearly as in-depth. And so what I want to do is I want to start with the original series, Season 1, and have you guys pick your best and worst episodes from the original series, Season 1.
You do realize
Season
you're
1 is a
basically
hard
asking...
one.
You're basically asking me to go and watch the entirety of TOS. Because
Well, you
I
should.
still
You
haven't
haven't
watched...
seen every episode. Season
Nope.
1 of the original series has to have more of the best episodes of Star Trek than any season. Of
Yes,
any Star
That's
Trek.
true.
Like, just find
I'll
Kinda
take your
have
word
to.
for
It is the Bible. It is.
I think I will actually jump out here and go first.
Okay.
My worst episode, I'll go with that one first. Charlie X.
Really?
I
mean-
really did not like Charlie X.
Oh man.
Hang on,
But it had Yeoman
wait,
Rand and...
Kirkbat, remember what you said. You're not supposed to. You
Well,
don't
we
want
could-
to go into depth.
Yeah, that was one of Rand's only episodes, really.
It was the only one where she got any characterization, yes. Other than just being Kirk's clipboard girl.
And Uhura's song in that one, right?
Yes. And I will go ahead and jump and grab City at the Edge of Forever as the best episode. And perhaps one of Harlan Ellison's best works that he's fought for years over.
Yeah.
Was that in the first season?
Yep.
Yes, it was.
Oh wow, okay. Right. I knew both of those then. That's fine. I have watched the first season.
All right, I'll go. I would say the worst is the alternative factor. which has those really long, drawn-out, interdimensional, crazy fight struggles that they were just using to kill time. Do you guys know which episode I'm talking about? It's like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't remember anything else about that episode but being really annoyed by those sequences. Best episode I'll pick is The Return of the Archons. Because that has to be probably my favorite episode with... Are you of the body? Blessed be the body, and health to all of its parts.
Landrew.
Landrew, and something about that episode is just my favorite. Even though, God, there's so many good ones. Like,
we can run them down after everybody picks too.
All right, sure.
Yeah. My turn.
Sure.
I think I'm gonna have to go with Kirkfed on the worst. Because I'm looking at them all right now. And that definitely was bad. Lazarus.
Yeah, I didn't. Admittedly, when I was looking at the list, I didn't scroll all the way down and pay attention to everything. But I just really didn't like Charlie X. Anyways.
Yeah. But I mean, you had some great episodes in this first season. There's some tremendous ones. To say my favorite, I'll have to say that even though, the Joan Collins, Edith Keeler, that's the most favorite of everybody. Let me take the Corbomite maneuver.
Yeah.
A very fun episode.
Mm-hmm.
I just love the Carbonite maneuver because of what it became then. Like, the Carbonite was used in another game, in a Star Trek game. It was used in Star Trek Armada and Star Trek Armada 2. And I just loved where they went with it from there.
I mean, City on the Edge of Forever was a great episode, but
yeah,
there are so many. I mean, even you had Space Seed, the original Khan appearance. Classic. Arena with the Gorn.
I love the
the Galileo 7. Squire Agathos with Trelane.
Mm-hmm.
For me, there are
Finnegan.
There are a lot of scene. Like, I know a scene from just about every single one of these episodes, but it's only about one or two scenes that are actually, to me, any good in those episodes. The rest of them, I can't get into, I'm afraid.
And you had the Menagerie, parts 1 and 2.
And if you want to throw in there, too, the pilot episode, because it's all the same thing. Conscience of the King is a great episode.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yes, it was.
You have
the
to
Galileo
like Shakespeare
7
stuff.
Kodos the Executioner.
Court Martial was the one where Kirk was supposed to have blown up his rival in the antimatter pod.
I really like that one because it was. I think that was Star Trek's first sort of court episode, court Trek.
Yeah, and that guy, the guy who played the attorney, he was in the Maltese Falcon, so that was kind of a big deal that he was on the episode.
And I probably should actually revise my choice, seeing as how The Devil in the Dark was in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
And which one was that?
Well, that's
God.
Oh, it's Horta's.
Yeah.
Of course, yes. Okay, I liked that.
And
one.
I would be remiss if I did not champion the cause of the Horta.
Yeah.
That was
Although I'll tell you what,
since
this Side of Paradise was not a great episode.
Yeah.
The Spores.
Which is surprising because it's a DC Fontana one.
Yeah,
Since
that's
you're
the one
such
with
fans of...
you're a freak, Spock, a freak. You belong in the circus right next to the dog-faced boy.
I'll give Fury an honorable mention though too, just because that scared the hell out of me when I was a kid with all the. I mean, it was so Children of the Corn like.
Right.
With the grumps.
Now, Castmodeans, seeing as you are such a fan of the Hortas, you should instantly know, without having to go and look it up, who played the Horta in The Devil in the Dark.
It's just some guy, right?
Yeah, I don't.
Yes, it really was, but he should know this.
The Horta played the Horta.
You keep thinking that. You keep thinking that. Okay then, that's thing done then?
No, because Oliver hasn't picked.
That's true.
Well, it's going to be embarrassing if Oliver picks, from what I can tell.
I don't know them well enough to be perfectly honest. Like I said, I know scenes, and
Then tell us your favorite scene.
Well, it's not arena, even though that's the most, because that annoys me when it's brought up constantly. Yes, it's iconic, but it's also horribly, horribly cheesy. But I know. Menagerie was good, but also went on for quite a long time. City on the Edge of Forever. I think that's probably what it's going to be. Yep. City on the Edge of Forever, that's my favourite. And least favourite will have to be... I'm very tempted to say Space Seed, but actually no, it's caught between Mud's Women and What a Little Girl's Made Of. Those are the one of those two. I'm not quite sure which, but yeah, they did absolutely.
Miri wasn't one of my favorites either.
And none of us picked Balance of Terror.
Yeah,
that's
Balance of Terror was great.
Yeah, it was all right. It wasn't the worst at all. Which season? Just out of curiosity, which season had First Federation in it? Which episode was that?
Where no man? No, that was.
That was a Carbonite maneuver.
So it was.
Right,
yes.
Carbonite maneuver. That's
yes.
right.
Of course, because he tricked.
Because that's where we got
Baylock.
Yeah.
Yes, because that's where we got Tranya.
Right.
I quite liked Carbonite maneuver. So my favourites are tied between Carbonite maneuver and City on the Edge of Forever.
Those are good picks.
And we did skip Operation Annihilate, the one where we killed Kirk's brother.
Yeah,
yes.
I honestly
I
can't
like that
remember
one.
anything about that episode.
The Inner Eyelid?
It was the one that was like based on the Dean Koontz novel. I just completely blanked on the name of it. The hate-inducing parasite things that landed on your back.
Yeah, the little jellyfish things.
Wasn't
Yes.
Operation Annihilate the one that was basically like written out of canon? Or am I thinking of a different
I
episode?
think you're thinking of the one with the black cat and the spy and the
Oh,
Roddenberry
yeah,
spy.
that was Cat's Paw.
No,
I
that's
can't remember.
7.
I don't remember Operation Annihilate at all.
He's talking about Operation Annihilate. Kirk goes to the colony his brother's on in order to find out why they've lost contact with it. The colony has been wiped out by these little clingy things that tap into your nervous system and drive you into homicidal rages, and Spock gets infected with one, and yada yada.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Gotta save Spock. We killed Kirk's brother. Except in the comics, where Kirk's brothers lived.
Fair enough.
Wow.
And his nephew. Who was, who we never heard about again.
All right, well, that was fun.
Yeah. That was quite off topic, but yes, it was quite fun.
All right, time for casting couch.
Okay.
Unless anyone else has anything.
So, to bring us back around to talking about characters that all look alike. In this week's casting couch.
Hang on. We have to
wait,
play
we're going to play we've got your famous intro.
Oh, right. I have an intro.
And here it goes.
Discussion later.
Yes, you will.
And there we go.
And this week in the casting couch, we're going to go with two characters who look very much alike. We're going to call them the Jeffrey Combs of the Enterprise F. They are Valkel Schoen and Samuel Winters, who, if not for the blue paint and the antennas, would pretty much be the same models.
Now, is it just me, or is it a trick of the light? Or does Samuel Winters, does he have his eyebrow cocked? Like,
I'm
It's
gonna
a
say
shadow, I
trick
think.
of the light.
Yeah. It must just be the shadow. But his face seems very much off kilter. So is his hair. It's a bit unnerving.
Yeah.
Oh well.
So, in my search to find square-jawed people to play these parts, it required a massive amount of scouring of the internet.
I disagree with that for the second one, but okay, whatever you say. That would have been my first
You're
pick.
cheating and looking at the list.
Yes.
Well, for Valkel Schoen, I decided to go with someone who Oliver has probably never heard of.
I had to go
Jan
and
Michael
Google it.
Vincent.
Oh.
I have no idea who this guy is.
Because you never experienced the glory that is Airwolf.
Oh, God.
I
See,
feel like I should.
Last week it was Chips, right? Or last
Yes,
episode
last
Chips.
week it was
now
Chips.
Now we're on to Airwolf.
80s primetime television shaped my youth.
Oh my god.
Actually, it was Paul
There-
that did Chips
there
anyways.
is- Hold on. There is airwolf.tv is a website. And you can watch
on
all
a completely
episodes.
separate thing, IDW Comics is bringing back Airwolf as a comic book series. Or maybe it was Dynamite. I think it was Dynamite, actually.
See,
But
I
that's
love this
completely
already
beside-
because episode 1 was called Airwolf Shadow of the Hawk with an E.
Yes, because his name is Stringfellow Hawk with an E.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Okay.
But yeah, Jan Michael Vincent, he especially considering how craggy they made Schoen look and aged, I think he works well if you've seen a picture of him recently.
Is he in
Percent-
anything that I would know of?
Very possibly, but
He was an Airwolf, wasn't he?
yes, but
Yeah, there is absolutely... I'm just looking through his IMDb, and I literally know of nothing that he has been in. Ever.
well, you're lost. Not really. Most of the stuff he's been in is quite terrible.
Yeah.
But we persevere, and we go to Samuel Winters, who looks suspiciously like Schoen.
Hang on, did everyone else go with their picks for...
I don't have a pick.
Oh, I do. I was going to say, and it's, I didn't look for people with square jaws, I can tell you that right now. I knew I wasn't going to find anything that exaggerated, really. Not anybody who was any good, anyway. I was going to say Russell Crowe for Sean. I like
yeah.
picking movie actors. I always go with the movie actors first. I forget TV entirely.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I can see Russell Crowe playing Vakil Shan. Yeah, he looks right.
Because he would go and headbutt somebody and then kick them while they're down.
Well, hey, Master
Yeah.
and Commander. The captain of a starship.
And also, I just love to, even though he can't sing for any shit, he was actually fairly good in Les Mis. So,
I think Russell Crowe's great.
Yeah, he would be perfect. He was great in Master and Commander. He's great in just about everything he does.
Mm-hmm.
Except life.
That's a bit harsh.
Life is harsh.
I will say, for some reason, I keep looking at winners and thinking of Biff Tannen. I don't know why.
Yeah, I see that, though.
Yeah. I unfortunately don't
Butthead.
remember his name.
Oh, Hippie just said for Sean, Ronnie Cox. That kind of works, but he's a bit too old. But yes, a younger Ronnie Cox could work. Although he'd actually, looking at his stuff, he never looked young.
Well, Beverly Hills Cop, he looked pretty young in comparison.
Yeah, but still, he
I mean, he was middle-aged then, but, I mean, younger than he does now. God, he looks...
Yes.
He was in Dexter. He looks practically decrepit now.
Oh, wow, I actually see a picture of him with colour in his hair. Okay, right. He looks entirely different there. Okay, anyway, sorry, moving on.
Well, my pick for Samuel Winters, I went with Channing Tatum.
Yeah, that works.
You just said it didn't.
No, it didn't.
Before I even had said who I'd picked, and you were looking ahead.
No, I said something, but I didn't say he didn't. No, I was saying, you said you had to scour the place, you had to scour the internet to find the actors to play these guys.
Okay,
no.
fine, I spent
Channing
5
Tatum,
minutes.
Channing Tatum would have been my first pick for that. Like, just that what came into my head instantly. They were probably better, but he just fitted it straight off.
Well, I wasn't necessarily looking for good actors. I was just looking for actors.
Oh yeah, he's not. I wouldn't say he was good. That's why they got rid of him in G.I. Joe 2.
This is Star Trek. No, they got rid of him in G.I. Joe 2 because he cost too much money.
Yes, it's true. And The Rock doesn't?
Well, not really. The Rock will be in just about any action movie.
That's true. Oh well.
He's kind of like the Vin Diesel.
Yeah, Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Which he was in that movie.
Right.
With Vin Diesel.
Yep.
And oh no, Vin Diesel wasn't in The Expendables 2, was he?
No.
No.
But he might be in 3.
Oh my god, there's gonna be a 3?
Yep. And
is that confirmed?
Yes, they're actually started filming today, believe it or not.
Oh my god.
Yeah, those are fun movies.
One
and
was fun.
I think Bruce
2
Willis
was
is out of
okay.
it, but they added somebody else, and I can't remember who it was. But basically, at this point, they've got dang near every 80s action shoot-'em-up movie person to come do something.
Well, which actually brings me to my pick for Winters.
Oh?
Jason Statham.
I think Winters wears his shirt far too often to be Jason Statham. But
well, can play against type. I mean, he was in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, which he did a great job in, before he got into all the heavy action stuff.
Oh, he generally does a great job in most everything he does. He even made In the Name of the King. Okay, no, he didn't really help in The Name of the King, but...
Ooh, I know. Sorry, going back to Vakil Shan, what about Sylvester Stallone?
As a starship captain?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You'd need a booster captain's chair.
That's true.
Andorians aren't that tall. So, you know.
Well,
I mean,
for
they have
casting
cup
against
holders. They must
type,
have, like,
I mean,
adjustable height.
that's like saying Danny DeVito.
No, Danny DeVito could never be a... Well, no, I know. Danny DeVito will be a...
When we get to a Tellarite.
Yes.
Yes.
Danny DeVito will be a Tellarite. That's perfect. Oh my god.
Paul Giamatti, still the best Tellarite, I'm telling you.
Isn't he the only Tellarite?
Well, as far as
So
we
Paul
know.
keeps telling me.
Okay then, is that everything?
That's it. I'm hungry.
Wow. See, you need to learn to eat before you go on podcasts. It's the way to go. Anyway, yeah, we didn't have any audience interaction this week particularly, but we really do want to have audience interaction. So seriously, if you want to come on and talk about topics, come on and talk. Next week, not next week, but next episode, we really do want to finally get to our Neverwinter discussion.
Yes, we
we
all
just-
have to make it a point to go in. I know
Yeah.
I'm guilty of.
I will
spending
ask
money.
one real quick question. Which Neverwinter are we going into?
Well, it's going to be new one because Fury of Feywild comes out in 2 days, I believe.
Oh, that is true.
Comes out Thursday, I think.
Well, Thursday's generally
patch
install day and not Tuesday.
Yeah. Thursday's patch day. So yes, it comes out on Thursday. But we may also have a nice little chat with some of the Neverwinter developers on Primetime this week. So stay tuned for that. It depends on whether they actually have time or whether they're bug fixing still. But stuff. So yeah, if you have anything to talk about, even if you can't make it to the live show, send us something at mailbag at primetimeugc.com, or send us it via Twitter at @primetime_UGC or at DrivetimeUGC, no underscore on that one. And I think that's about it. Yeah. Anyone else have anything to say?
Well,
No?
I could be reached at StarbaseUGC as can the rest, plus also at Castmodean.
Kurt
And
Fat, what about you?
Cap.
Oh, sorry.
At KirkFat Twitter, or in the Starbase UGC chat.
Paul?
Yep, I'm at PF Dennis, and I'm also in the chat.
I'm at Cerberus Films, CERBERUSFILMS, because no one ever spells it right. And thank you very much, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Good night.
Woof.
This is a test.
Are you just gonna sit there and take this challenge? Just maybe drive off the road every day.
Have developed this system to keep you informed in the event of an emergency. If this had been an actual emergency, the attention signal you just heard would have been followed by official news, information, or instructions. This concludes this test of the emergency broadcast system.